This might be the first projector that actually makes my TV feel kinda useless. And I did not expect that. It's called the Horizon 20 Max, XGIMI's new flagship model. And it's bright, very bright, like curtains open at noon bright. And it can blow up to a massive 300 inches. Now let me show you why this thing has me freaking out. My name is Zidoo, and on this channel we play with new tech and smart home products. And we keep it real. Huge thanks to XGIMI for sending me the Horizon 20 Max so early so I could test it and give you my honest take. Now yes, this video is technically sponsored, but just to be clear, I am not getting paid for this. The only thing I get to keep is the projector itself. XGIMI basically said, here's our new upcoming flagship model, let your viewers know what you think. And that's exactly what I'm doing. You'll hear both the good and the bad. Now here's the deal. If you watch in a bright room, need easy setup, and want big screen movies without drilling walls, this review shows you exactly what you'll get. I'm going to run a daylight test, a white wall versus screen test, a gaming lag check, sound check, and a quick app check, including does Netflix just work thing. By the end, you'll know who should buy it and who shouldn't. Simple. One product, real life, no fluff, let's go. Box shows up. It's big. I lift the lid, and the first thing, it comes with a travel case. Super handy. Honestly, I love this. Makes it way easier to carry around and pack up if you move between rooms. Or take it on the go. Inside, the build looks clean, like a fancy speaker married to a camera. I peel the plastic and I smell the new tech. Don't judge. Inside, there's a smaller box. In there, you get the power brick cable and the power brick itself. And whoa, it's massive. 300 watts. This thing packs serious power. Then I find some papers I probably won't read. I should, but yeah, you know how it goes. And finally the remote. And this time they actually added more buttons compared to the last model. Thank you. I even said it in that review, I wished for more. And here they are. Plus backlighting, which is awesome. Except not all the buttons light up. That makes no sense to me. Hopefully after this video, XGIMI just says, okay, fine, and gives us full backlighting next time. The unit itself is lighter and smaller than I expected, but it feels solid. No creaks, and look at this lens. It's massive, and it looks fast, like a race car for light. Tiny panic. Did I scratch it? No, I didn't. And yes, we've got the famous Harman Kardon sound again. I love it, especially if you don't have a sound system. Honestly, I've got a full Sonos setup at home, but with this previous model, I actually use it without because the built-in sound is already great. Sometimes I use it with and sometimes without. Design-wise, it's cleaner than the last gen, soft matte gray, rounded edges, and that metal style grille, and a little Harman Kardon badge. Very living room friendly. The stand is actually a gimbal. You can tilt it up, down, and angle it pretty much any way you need without shoving books under it. It feels stable, and quick micro adjustments are way easier than messing with feet. And if you want to mount it, it's possible. There's a mount hole underneath, so you can drop it on XGIMI's floor stand or even on a ceiling mount. Nice to have all three options: desk, floor, or overhead. Up front, the big glass lens with the red rim looks serious. No motorized door like the Horizon Ultra. Yeah, I kinda miss that, to be honest. But the open design means faster startups. Let me flip it around. I love ports. Ports are like pockets. The more, the better. We've got two HDMI ports, one marked with eARC for your receiver or soundbar, and one for a console or PC. Two USB, one blue for faster drives, so movies off a stick are fine, but no Ethernet port on the body. Bummer. But easy fix. Grab a cheap USB to Ethernet adapter if you really want wired speed. It also comes with Wi-Fi 6 built in, so for most people that's plenty fast. Then we've got optical audio out, old but still handy, and a 3.5mm line out for simple speakers. And of course Bluetooth for controllers and wireless speakers. Easy. Alright, simple English. It's a 4K projector. It uses 3 lasers, red, green, blue. No color wheel stuff. That means super strong color and less rainbow sparkle. Brightness is the big headline on the 20 Max. They say 5700 ISO lumens. Translation? Actually bright in human rooms, not cave only. And here's something rare. Real optical lens shift. Now lens shift itself isn't new. Big heavy projectors have had it for years. But in a smaller, living room friendly box like this, that's new. And it matters. because you can now move the image up and down, left and right without wrecking sharpness or leaning on digital keystone tricks. It makes setup way less painful. There's also real optical zoom, not that fake digital crop, so we keep it sharp. You've got Dolby Vision, HDR10+, and even filmmaker mode if you hate that fake soap opera smoothing. And it also speaks IMAX enhanced. Now that doesn't mean my living room turned into a 6-story theater, but it does mean this projector hits the same picture and sound standards IMAX signs off on. So when you stream certain movies on Disney or Prime, you actually get wider frame and more detail. It's basically the closest thing to an IMAX vibe at home, without the $15 popcorn. For gamers, it can push 1080p at 240 frames per second. Super fast. 4K goes to 60 frames per second. So not 4K 120. Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.2, check and check. Now specs are nice, but I want proof. So let's open AIDA64 and see what this thing really is. CPU and GPU first. It shows MediaTek chip with Mali graphics. That's plenty for Google TV and the high refresh game modes. Memory and storage, here's the total RAM. And the system UI can render at 1080p, but video playback still runs in true 4K. I'll show you that in a second. Codecs, hardware decode for HEVC and VP9 is here. And if AV1 shows up on your unit, even better. That's why 4K streaming stays smooth. Then it has DRM, Wide Fine, L1 is active, so Netflix and Prime can do proper 4K HDR on this box. And then we've got thermals. Now after a 2-hour session, temps stay stable. And the fan is a still soft shh. Alright, marketing claims checked. Now I'll play a 4K HDR clip and pull up the player stats on YouTube, so you can see the actual resolution and bitrate on screen. Now let's do some testing on my 120-inch projector screen. And I wanted to know if this thing could actually fight sunlight. So I pulled curtains wide open at noon. The whole room was glowing. Normally, this is where projectors give up and turn into a massive gray mess. I tossed some YouTube videos, bright animations, lots of colors. And honestly, it helped up way better than I thought. Not full TV brightness, but shockingly close. It's the first time I looked over at my TV and thought, yeah, you're kinda jealous right now. For casual stuff like sports and cartoons, even with light pouring in, it's totally watchable. Then I switched gears. Space scenes, stars, black suits, those tough shadow moments, normally the dead zones for projectors. But I could still see detail in the shadows. Not OLED level black, but not a washed out mush either. And with the Horizon's dynamic tone mapping and 10,000 by 1 contrast ratio, tweaking the picture settings gave me a little extra punch. Small win, but makes movie nights feel a lot closer to cinema quality. Next up, I tested placement. I put the projector way off the side, like you would never actually set it up this way, off the side. Then I nudged the image up, then left, still sharp. I raised it way too high on a shelf, pulled it back down with a vertical shift, and it stayed crisp. Lens shift isn't new in the pro projector world, but in a smaller lifestyle box like this, that's rare. And it makes a huge difference. You don't need a perfect mount or drilling holes. You just drop it down, shift the image, and you're good. Next, I ran a speed test with and without the USB plug. Honestly, for just about 10 bucks, this USB 3.0 hub is a solid buy. Even if your device already has an Ethernet port, I'd still recommend adding this hub because it gives you 3 extra USB 3.0 ports plus an Ethernet port in one compact adapter. Now keep in mind, a USB 3.0 port supports up to 5 GB per second of bandwidth in total. When you split that across 3 USB ports plus the Ethernet port, you're technically sharing that 5 GPS limit. But that's not really an issue. My internet connection is 1 GB per second, so even if I max it out, there's still plenty of bandwidth left. The only time you'd really hit that 5 GPS ceiling is if you're transferring huge files from multiple fast SSDs at the exact same time. And that won't happen. In my tests, my Wi-Fi router, which supports Wi-Fi 6, is just a bit too far away. So over wireless, I could only reach around 100 megabytes per second. But once I switched to the Ethernet port on this USB hub, my speeds jumped to over 900 megabytes per second. That's a massive improvement and makes a big difference for smooth local streaming. Then came gaming. I plugged in my PC first at 1080p, 240 frames per second, input lag basically gone. The Horizon 20 Max is rated at 1 milliseconds and it feels instant, like a monitor, not a projector. Then I swapped over to console gaming at 4K 60 FPS. Super clean, super smooth. Do I miss 4K 120 in fast shooters? Yeah, a bit. But for story games, racing, even FIFA, 4K 60 frames per second feels fine after 10 minutes. Plus, VRR and ALLM are baked in, so the screen automatically adjusts refresh rate to match the game. No tearing, no stuttering, something most projectors can't even do. Then audio. I expected the usual tiny sound you get in most projectors, but the 24 watts Harman Kardon system actually fills the room. Voices are clean, highs are crisp, and there's a surprising amount of bass for built-in speakers. Not a subwoofer, but good enough that I actually left my Sonos system off for a few days, just to test it. For everyday use, it works. For movie night with friends, you can always pass audio out through an eARC to a soundbar or receiver and really shake the walls. But you don't hear anything if you, like from this point, I don't hear anything. It's super quiet. Unbelievable. Fans, softer than I expected. Just a light shh that disappears on the dialogue. I let it run for over 2 hours and the brightness stayed steady. And here's the curveball. 3D support. I actually forgot my active shooter glasses at first. Thought it was broken, but I found them in the drawer. Depth pop is fun. Not something I'll use daily, but if you still got a 3D collection, this projector has your back. Now I also did some testing on Netflix and YouTube and it works excellent. No buffering, no stuttering, and you get it all. HDR, Dolby Vision, you name it. Now I don't just stream Netflix and YouTube, I also run dedicated players like Arvolution and Zidoo. These boxes handle heavy stuff. Full Blu-rays, 4K remixes, Dolby Vision profiles, even full menus if you're into that. Here's why I use them. Streaming is super convenient, but it's heavily compressed. A 4K HDR stream on Netflix is usually around 15 to 25 megabytes per second. Do the math on a 2-hour movie. That's roughly 14 to 22 gigabytes of video data plus a bit for audio. A Ultra HD Blu-ray or 4K remix often averages around 60 to 100 megabytes per second, with peaks much higher. That same 2-hour movie as a full quality remix is commonly 50 to 80 gigabytes, sometimes near 100 gigabytes on discs. More data means more detail, cleaner motion, better picture quality, and beefier soundtracks. When I fed the Horizon 20 Max those high bitrate Dolby Vision files from my Arvolution player, it didn't choke. Highlights stayed bright, shadows kept detail, motion stayed smooth, no fake HDR look. Same story with Zidoo. Big 4K remix files played without dropped frames. So if you're a movie collector or you've got yourself a NAS full of backups of movies, this projector keeps up. It's not just a Netflix box on the wall. It handles the full fat stuff too. Things I like. First up, the brightness. Absolutely game changer. 5700 ISO lumens is insane. By far the brightest projector I've tested. It completely changed where you can actually use a projector. I don't have to live in a dark cave anymore just to watch a movie. I can throw on YouTube at noon with the blinds open and it's still enjoyable. Colors are great too. Skin tones look human, not that weird orange some projectors push. Cartoons look like candy. Sport grass looks like, well, grass. Basically stuff looks the way it should. Then there's lens shift. I love this. It saved me from drilling holes in my ceiling or shoving furniture around just to center the image. I set the projector where it made sense, used lens shift to line things up, and done. way less stress. Speed is another surprise. This thing is crazy fast. The fan is just a soft shh instead of a jet engine, and the whole system feels way snappier than previous generations. Honestly, it might also be the fastest projector I've tested so far, and I love that. The remote is also finally upgraded. Backlighting, action key, more buttons, and all the little things I complained about before are fixed, or at least improved. Small detail, big quality of life win. And after using this beast, lens shift, auto keystone, and intelligent screen alignment all feel like must-have features for me from now on. They just work, and once you've tried them, it's hard to go back. And for gaming, that 1080p 240 frames per second mode, whoa. For racing and rhythm games, it feels instant. I honestly didn't expect the projector to ever feel this snappy. Of course, it's not 4K 120 FPS, but come on, it's a projector, so a total surprise win. Now let's move forward to things to think about. I'm gonna get a bit nerdy, because I love ports. For flagship, I do miss a couple. No Ethernet on the body and no USB 4. It's 2025, we can do this. Most people won't care. Wi-Fi 6 is fast and works fine. But if you got into a NAS and a giant movie library like me, wired and a faster USB would be a sweet bonus. Workarounds exist. A cheap USB to Ethernet adapter gives you wired speed, and I still hook up my Revolution or Zidoo for local files while using Google TV for streaming. I'm covered. Just wish it was all built in. Like mentioned, the remote is way better. More buttons, an action key, and backlighting. But not every button lights up. Why stop halfway? Light them all next time, XGIMI. I also missed the automatic lens cover door from the Horizon Ultra. Not a deal breaker, just a classy touch I liked. And last one, it's still a projector, so blacks might sometimes be a tiny bit washed away. And that's all to it. And now it's price time. The Horizon 20 Max comes in at about $3,000 and roughly 3,000 euros in Europe. Not cheap, but here's how I look at it. I once bought a big TV that costs about the same. Actually, it's still here, sitting right behind the projector screen. And yeah, it looks great, but it's stuck at 85 inches. Cool, but not wow. With this projector, I'm instantly at 120 inches. I can push it to 150 if I want to, or even a massive 300 if I'm feeling really insane. That's a whole wall of movie. So for me, the trade makes sense. Same money, way more size, and honestly a bigger wow factor. For you, it depends. If you're happy with a smaller, shinier TV, cool. If you've always wanted that massive cinema feel at home, this thing will get you there 100%. Now, if you want to learn more, everything is in the description. Official page, my screen pick, and the more affordable Horizon 20 models. If I get a discount code or link, I'll add it there. Now my final thoughts. Did it surprise me? Yes. I thought it would be bright on paper, but kind of like meh in real life. Turns out it's actually bright in real life. Did it disappoint me? A little. Mainly the lack of Gigabit Ethernet. I knew that wasn't going in, but part of me still wished it was there, especially since the previous model did have it. Did it change my mind on projectors in daylight? Hell yeah. I didn't think I'd ever enjoy watching with the blinds open, but this one pulled it off. Here's my simple take. If you want the biggest screen, real color, and you don't want to live in darkness, this thing is a beast. If you need 4K at 120 FPS for pro gaming, keep your TV for that lane. For movies, shows, sports, and chill games, the Horizon 20 Max made my living room feel like a theater, and I was not ready for that. Now if this video helped, cool. Tap like so more people see it. Drop a question if I missed something. I reply a lot. If you like big screens and simple talk, subscribe. No pressure. You can always change your mind later. Now if you're still here, you're my people. Want the best box for local movies? I made a head-to-head comparison of the top dedicated media players. Revolution versus Zidoo versus Dune HD. Links in the description, and I'll pop it on the end screen too. Go check it out.